Imagine a locked safe in the heart of a towering corporate empire, its secrets guarded by an unbreakable code that even the world's best hackers couldn't crack. Now picture a powerful CEO, laughing off a desperate plea with a joke, "Open that safe, and I'll marry you." But what if the one who takes up the challenge isn't a rival or a thief, but his own daughter, defying odds, unraveling mysteries, and uncovering truths that could shatter their world or heal it forever? Stick around, because this isn't just a tale of keys and combinations, it's a journey of broken hearts, unbreakable wills, and the kind of love that turns the impossible into reality. By the end, you'll believe that sometimes, the greatest treasures aren't hidden in vaults, they're in the people we fight for. In the gleaming skyscrapers of New York City, where fortunes were made and lost in the blink of an eye, stood the headquarters of Vanguard Enterprises. At its helm was Alexander Harrington, a man whose name alone could open doors, or seal them shut forever. Alex, as his inner circle called him, was a widower in his late 50s, with silver hair that matched the steel in his eyes. He had built his empire from nothing, starting as a young inventor tinkering in a garage, and now it spanned continents, dealing in cutting-edge technology and unbreakable security systems. But beneath the tailored suits and boardroom bravado, Alex carried a wound that no amount of wealth could heal, the loss of his wife, Elena, to a sudden illness 15 years ago. She had been his anchor, his muse, and without her, he had poured everything into his work. And into protecting his only child, Sophia. Sophia Harrington was 28, with her mother's warm brown eyes and her father's sharp intellect. She worked in the company's R&D department, developing algorithms that could predict market trends with eerie accuracy. But despite her talents, Sophia often felt like a shadow in her father's empire. Alex loved her fiercely, but his way of showing it was through distance. Endless business trips, late nights at the office, and a protective bubble that kept her from the harsher realities of their world. "You're my legacy, Soph," he'd say, but it always came with an unspoken caveat: "Stay safe, stay out of the fire." Sophia longed for more. She wanted to prove she could stand beside him, not behind him. Her friends saw her as the relatable everywoman, smart, kind, but burdened by expectations she didn't choose. She volunteered at local tech workshops for underprivileged kids, teaching them coding as a way to give back, and in those moments, she felt truly alive. The trouble began on a stormy evening in the penthouse office, where Alex hosted a high-stakes meeting with potential investors. Among them was Marcus Hale, a charming but ambitious rival CEO from a competing firm. Marcus had been circling Vanguard for months, sniffing out weaknesses, and tonight he was pushing for a merger that Alex knew would gut his company. As tensions rose, Marcus leaned back in his leather chair, a sly grin on his face. "Come on, Alex. We both know your imbricable safe down in the vault holds the real gems, those patented prototypes Elena designed before she passed. Share them, and we could dominate the market together." Alex's face hardened at the mention of his wife's name. Elena had been the genius behind Vanguard's early security tech, including the infamous Harrington safe, a vault with a biometric lock fused with a quantum encrypted code that no one, not even Alex, could fully access without her unique key. A pendant she had worn until her death. The room fell silent as Alex stood, his voice laced with sarcasm. "You wanted that safe so badly, Marcus? Fine. Open it yourself, and I'll marry you." The words tumbled out as a joke, meant to deflate the tension, but they hung in the air like thunder. The investors chuckled nervously, but Marcus's eyes gleamed with mock offense. "Marry me? Alex, I'm flattered, but I'd settle for a partnership." The meeting ended awkwardly, with handshakes and promises to revisit, but the joke spread like wildfire through the company grapevine. Whispers in the hallways turned it into legend, the CEO's impossible challenge. No one took it seriously, except Sophia, who overheard it all from the adjoining room where she had been reviewing data. That night, as rain lashed against the windows of their family estate on the outskirts of the city, Sophia confronted her father. "Dad, why bring up Mom's safe like that? It's not just a vault, it's her memory." Alex sighed, pouring himself a scotch, his broad shoulders slumping for the first time that day. "It was a stupid joke, Soph. That safe hasn't been opened since she programmed it. It holds her final designs, things that could change the world, but also reminders of what I lost. I can't bear to force it open, it feels like betraying her." Sophia's heart ached. She remembered Elena as a vibrant woman who read her bedtime stories about inventors and dreamers, always encouraging her to chase the stars. But since her death, the safe had become a symbol of their family's fracture, a locked box of grief. What if someone did open it? Sophia asked softly. Alex laughed bitterly. Impossible. It requires her voice print, her fingerprint, and a code only she knew. Even I don't have it all. But in Sophia's mind, wheels were turning. She saw the challenge not as a joke, but as a way to bridge the gap between them, to honor her mother and prove her worth. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of quiet determination for Sophia. She dove into old family archives, poring over Elena's journals and blueprints hidden in dusty attic boxes. Challenges piled up. The biometric lock was tied to Elena's DNA, which Sophia shared, but the code was a riddle wrapped in personal memories, phrases from their life together that Alex had long buried. Sophia faced emotional hurdles too, reliving her mother's words brought waves of sorrow, nights where she cried alone, questioning if she was strong enough. At work, she balanced her secret quest with her duties, dodging questions from colleagues who noticed her exhaustion. One evening, a key breakthrough came when she found an old recording of Elena's voice in a forgotten home video. Using her tech skills, she began piecing together a digital reply. "Bad thoughts crept in, what if I fail?" she confided in her best friend, Lila, over coffee. Lila, a no-nonsense engineer from the same department, squeezed her hand. "Then you try again. This isn't about the safe, it's about you and your dad finding each other again." Inspired, Sophia pressed on, her resolve hardening like steel. As the chapter built to its midpoint, external pressures mounted. Marcus, sensing opportunity, leaked the joke to the press, turning it into a media frenzy. Headlines screamed, "CEO's marital dare, cracked the safe for a shot at the throne." Investors swabbed, stock prices dipped, and Alex grew irritable, snapping at Sophia during a family dinner. "This is my mess, not yours," he said, but his eyes betrayed worry, for the company, for her. Sophia's heart twisted, she wanted to tell him everything, but fear held her back. Instead, she worked late into the nights, hacking away at the code with algorithms she designed herself. One resolution came when she cracked the first layer, using her own fingerprint, enhanced by Elena's genetic markers. The safe's outer panel lit up for the first time in years. It was a small victory, but it fueled her. Yet, the real challenge loomed, the quantum code, a labyrinth of numbers tied to Elena's favorite poem. As the storm outside mirrored the one in her soul, Sophia realized this wasn't just about opening a box, it was about unlocking the past to save their future. With the media circus in full swing, Sophia's quest intensified. The safe, buried in the sub-basement of Vanguard's headquarters, became her nightly haunt. Security guards nodded knowingly as she swiped her card, assuming she was on some routine task. But inside the vault room, under the harsh fluorescent lights, Sophia faced her deepest fears. The quantum code was no mere puzzle, it adapted in real time, shifting patterns based on failed attempts. Each wrong input risked a permanent lockdown, erasing the contents forever, a failsafe Elena had built to protect her innovations from thieves. Sophia's hands trembled as she inputted sequences, drawing from memories, the poem "The Road Not Taken" by Robert Frost, which Elena recited during family hikes. "Two roads diverged in a wood," Sophia whispered, tapping variations. Failure after failure lit up red warnings, and exhaustion set in. She hit rock bottom one night, slumping against the cold metal, tears streaming. "Mom, why make it so hard?" she sobbed, feeling the weight of isolation. Relatable moments defined Sophia's struggle. She juggled her double life, smiling through board meetings by day, wrestling with code by night. Her health suffered, skipped meals led to dizzy spells, and sleep became a luxury. Lala noticed and confronted her. "Soph, you're burning out. Let me help." Reluctantly, Sophia shared her plan, and Lala became her ally, using her expertise in quantum computing to simulate code variations. Their friendship deepened, turning late-night sessions into heartfelt talks about loss and legacy. "My mom left me too young," Lila shared. "But she taught me that strength isn't solo, it's in the people who stand with you." This emotional bond provided a key resolution. Together, they decoded a hidden layer, revealing that the code incorporated Alex's birthday, twisted into a fractal pattern. It was Elena's way of ensuring only family could access it, a testament to her love. Meanwhile, Alex grappled with his own turmoil. The joke had backfired spectacularly. Hackers worldwide attempted digital breaches, and Marcus pressured him with buyout offers. In a vulnerable moment, Alex visited Elena's grave, confessing his regrets. "I pushed Soph away to protect her, but I've lost her in the process." Unbeknownst to him, Sophia overheard, hidden in the shadows during her own visit. It broke her heart, fueling her determination. The climax built as Sofia assembled the final pieces, Elena's voice replica, her fingerprint, and the completed code. With Lala watching via video call, Sofia pressed enter. The safe hummed, lights flickered, and with a soft click, it opened. Inside lay not just blueprints, but letters, Elena's final words to them both, urging unity and forgiveness. My loves, one read, the real treasure is each other. Don't let grief lock you away. The resolution unfolded in waves of emotion. Sofia rushed to her father, safe contents in hand. Alice's eyes widened in disbelief. How? She smiled through tears. Because I'm your daughter, and Mom's. He did the impossible for us. They embraced, the empire's weight lifting as they read Elena's letters together. The designs revolutionized Vanguard, securing its future without mergers. Marcus' schemes crumbled, exposed as opportunistic. Sofia stepped into a leadership role, her confidence soaring. The story closed with them at a family dinner, laughter echoing where silence once reigned. Alex raised a glass, to impossible things, and the love that makes them possible. In the end, this tale leaves an inspiring message: no vault is truly unbreakable when faced with perseverance, love, and the courage to confront the past. Challenges may seem insurmountable, but with heart and help from those who care, we can unlock not just secrets, but our truest selves. And sometimes, a joke becomes the spark that reignites a family's fire. In the dim glow of a flickering street lamp, Miguel Vargas knelt on the cold tile floor of the empty office building, scrubbing away the day's grime with calloused hands that had long forgotten the feel of rest. By day, he was just the janitor, invisible to the suits who hurried past him without a glance. But at night, in the cramped garage of his rundown apartment, he became something else. A dreamer tinkering with wires and circuits, chasing a wild idea that could either save his world or shatter it completely. Little did he know, as his young daughter slept in the next room, that this hidden passion was about to ignite a revolution, turning a broken man's quiet desperation into a beacon of hope for millions. What if one man's midnight miracle could rewrite the rules of possibility? Stick around, because this story of grit, loss, and triumph will pull at your heartstrings and leave you believing in second chances. Miguel Vargas woke up every morning at 4:30 de la mañana, the alarm on his battered phone piercing the silence like a cruel reminder of the life he hadn't chosen. The small apartment in the outskirts of Mexico City smelled of yesterday's rice and beans, a humble meal he'd stretched for days. His 7-year-old daughter, Sofia, stirred in her bed across the room, her tiny frame curled under a threadbare blanket that once belonged to her mother. Elena. Gone too soon, taken by a sudden illness 3 years ago, leaving Miguel to navigate the storm of single parenthood alone. He tiptoed over, brushing a strand of dark hair from her forehead, whispering, "Buenos días, mi princesa," before slipping into his faded blue janitor's uniform. The bus ride to the towering corporate skyscraper downtown was a ritual of exhaustion. Miguel stared out the window at the waking city, his mind replaying the doctor's words from that fateful night. "We did everything we could." Elena's death had not only shattered his heart but also buried them in medical bills that devoured his meager savings. Now, he worked double shifts as a conserje, janitor, at empresas globales, mopping endless hallways, emptying trash bins filled with the remnants of other people's successes. His co-workers, a mix of weary immigrants like himself, shared stories over lukewarm coffee in the basement break room. "Life's a grind, Miguel," old Ramon would say, clapping him on the back. "But you got that little girl, she's your light." Yet, the days blurred into a haze of invisibility. Executives in crisp suits barely acknowledged him as he pushed his cart through the gleaming offices, their conversations about million-dollar deals echoing like distant thunder. Miguel felt the weight of it all, the aching back from hours on his knees, the gnawing worry about Sofia's future. She was bright, always drawing pictures of fantastical machines in her school notebooks, but the public school in their neighborhood was underfunded, and private options were a pipe dream. "Papa, why do you work so much?" she'd ask, her big brown eyes full of innocence. "He'd force a smile, to make sure you have everything, mija." "But incide, that faster." Was this all there was? Scrubbing floors while his dreams gathered dust. Afternoons brought a brief respite when he picked Sofia up from school. They'd walk home hand in hand, stopping at the corner tienda for a cheap treat, a piece of candy or a fresh tortilla. Sofia chattered about her day, her laughter a balm for his soul. But evenings were when the real battle began. After tucking her in with a bedtime story about inventors who changed the world, Edison, Tesla, heroes from books he'd borrowed from the library, Miguel retreated to the garage. It was his sanctuary, a cluttered space lit by a single bulb, filled with scavenged parts from dumpsters and flea markets. Wires, batteries, old circuit boards, he'd always had a knack for fixing things, a skill honed from his rural childhood in Oaxaca, where necessity bred ingenuity. For months, he'd been obsessed with an idea born from desperation. Sofia's asthma had worsened in the polluted city air, her inhaler a constant expense they could barely afford. What if there was a better way? A portable device that not only delivered medication but monitored air quality in real time, alerting parents via a simple app? It sounded impossible for a man with no formal education beyond high school, but Miguel poured his nights into it. Sketching diagrams on napkins, soldering components until his fingers blistered, testing prototypes that fizzled and sparked. Just one more try, he'd mutter, ignoring the exhaustion that clawed at his eyes. Neighbors whispered about the local janitor who tinkered late into the night, but Miguel didn't care. This invention wasn't just a gadget, it was a promise to Elena's memory, a way to protect their daughter from the world's harsh edges. Challenges mounted like storm clouds. One night, a faulty wire caused a small fire in the garage, singeing his arm and filling the apartment with smoke. Sofia woke coughing, terrified, and Miguel held her close, vowing to be more careful. Money was another demon, parts cost more than he could spare, forcing him to skip meals or pawn his wedding ring, the last tangible link to Elena. At work, a new supervisor, Señor López, a stern man with a penchant for cutting corners, threatened layoffs. Efficiency, Vargas, he de bark. Or you're out. Miguel swallowed his pride, working harder, but the stress gnawed at him. Doubts crept in during quiet moments. Who was he kidding? A janitor inventing medical tech? It was a fool's errand. Yet, small victories kept him going. When prototype finally worked, a clunky box that beeped when air quality dipped, linked to his old phone. Sofia's eyes lit up when he showed her. "Papa, you're like a superhero," she exclaimed, hugging him tightly. That hug fueled him through the rejections. He'd sent crude blueprints to a few companies, but responses were curt.